Initiative India and the Circular Economy Solutions for Preventing Marine Litter in Ecosystems project in India at the GIZ. Katharina holds a PhD from the Institute of Asian and African Studies at the Humboldt University in Berlin. In her doctoral research, she focused on the implementation of India's municipal solid waste management agenda and the role of the informal sector. So on that note, Dr. Katharina, I welcome you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. I would like to share my PPT. Do I share my screen? Does it work like this?
Yeah, you can share your.
I just do that. Okay.
Yeah, we can see your screen. If you can just go full screen.
Yeah, I just did. I think it's
yes,
yeah.
We can. Yeah.
Does it work? Okay, great.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and thank you for the introduction and for giving me the opportunity to speak today a bit about our insights here from India. So in the next 30-35 minutes, I will give you insights into the key learnings from our marine litter work here in India, with a specific focus on the states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Goa. As you just now mentioned, Siddharth, I'm currently associated with two of GIZ's projects here in India. One is the bilateral Indo-German development cooperation project on circular economy solutions preventing marine litter in ecosystems, and the other project is the EU Resource Efficiency Initiative. In the following presentation, I will present learnings from both of these projects as we focus on the states of Tamil Nadu and Kerala in our implementation in the bilateral project, and the state of Goa we work in under the umbrella of the EU Resource Efficiency Initiative. To begin with, I would like to give you a brief overview of the Circular Economy Solutions Preventing Marine Litter project. This project is commissioned by the German Federal Ministry of Environment, Nature Conservation, Nuclear Safety and Consumer Protection, the BMUV, and is being implemented together with the nodal ministry here in India, the MOFCC. The overall objective of this project is to find ways of integrating circular economy solutions to preventing marine litter and plastic leakages. We do that in 3 pilot states, namely Uttar Pradesh, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, with which we cover the riverine as well as coastal ecosystem. And for the purpose of this presentation today, I will focus on our implementation activities in the approach we are using in this project and when preventing marine litter is the policy tool of extended producer responsibility. We use this tool along the entire life cycle, and we are having interventions at all stages of the value chain, and use the lens of EPR throughout our initiatives. As you can see on the slide, we have 3 key areas in the CES project. One is piloting of methods to track, monitor, and report leakages of marine litter with a focus again on plastics. 2 is the demonstration of technological solutions to reduce, reuse, and/or recycle plastics. And the 3rd area is the support to the implementation of the National Framework for Plastic Waste Management. At the national level, as already mentioned, we of course work closely with our nodal ministry, the MOFCC, and also the CPCB. And at the state level of the 3 pilot states, we work closely with the respective state pollution control boards and departments of environment. To give you a brief snapshot of the overall project activity, so the project runs since August 2020 now, and since then we have been, of course, working in our 3 pilot states and in 6 cities within those 3 pilot states. We have implemented 13 pilot demonstration projects and developed numerous knowledge products, be it the baseline assessments, which we conducted in all the 3 states, but also a study on single-use plastic ban, and eco-design, an eco-design study, and other things. On one focus, as you can see here in the lower part of the slide, one focus of the overall implementation lies on the support to the implementation of the National Extended Producer Responsibility Framework. Our project supported the development and setup of the centralized Extended Producer Responsibility Portal for plastic packaging, which is located at CPCB and which was launched in mid-2021. This portal increases the traceability of plastic production as well as plastic waste generation. The portal until now was able to track more than 3.2 million metric tons of plastic packaging alone for the year 2022 and 3. And it has not only included the mechanism of plastic produced, but also includes information on the quantity of plastic waste that is recycled or the end of life use of waste. One of the key outcomes of our project in regard to the EPR portal is related to the registration process of producers, importers, and brand owners, PBOs, as well as plastic waste processors on the portal. In December 2023, so last month, more than 33,000 PBOs had registered and more than 2,300 plastic waste processors had registered on the portal. In that way, the EPR portal provides a structured way to implement EPR in the plastic packaging field, and experiences from here can be drawn also and maybe replicated to other material streams and potential EPR frameworks. Another policy intervention, again at the national level, is focused on the support to the implementation of the single-use plastic ban. Here, the project supports the setup of the national dashboard at MOFCC with the objective to eliminate the identified SUP items and effectively implement the plastic waste management rules. Coming to our 13 demonstration projects undertaken in the project, you can see here on the slide we have a variety of pilots ongoing, and also in numerous different fields, from reduce, reuse, recycle. And here, maybe in a bit in a different way, we can see it on the downstream side. We have pilots on legacy waste, recycling, and waste management, as well as on discarded fishing nets. And on the upstream side, we support pilots through reduce, reuse, or also women livelihood models on alternatives to SUPs, as well as campaigns for creating public movements. One other element in our interventions is related to the support to the development of EPR-led business models, which we work together on with selected ULBs. Coming to Tamil Nadu, the first state of the 3, which I would like to highlight few of our examples of interventions. Here, when we as you can see, we have a mix of upstream measures, which consist of public movements, which are very much scalable, then support to self-help groups, as well as implementation of the refillable model. Would like to go a bit into details of each of those to give a better understanding of what we have done so far here. One of our key upstream interventions is the support to the state-led awareness campaign called Mino Manjapai campaign. This campaign was launched in December 2021 in Tamil Nadu and has meanwhile been adopted by various other states, as it was quite successful. This campaign on using the yellow cloth bag, or Manjapai as it's named in Tamil language, aims to encourage people to return to the use of eco-friendly and reusable cloth bags and discard banned plastic bags. I earlier mentioned that one of our knowledge products was this plastic ban assessment study, which we did in 10 states. And in this plastic ban assessment study, it was revealed that 65% of the citizens in Tamil Nadu are aware of the existing SUP ban in the country, and also the majority of consumers are also aware of the increasing problems that is caused by SUP towards marine litter. This is why when we initiated also the development of this campaign, we felt as a project also that this state, Tamil Nadu, has a good potential in terms of this sort of awareness campaign, as the consumer awareness is already pretty high here. And hence this promotion of alternatives to plastics, which is steered by self-help groups, is trying to promote the tradition and revive the culture of alternatives to plastics. This is, of course, also very much aligned with the concept of lifestyle for environment, LIFE, the mission LIFE, which is, of course, supporting the sustainable lifestyle based on traditional values of conservation and optimal utilization of resources. With this intervention, our project supports the linkage of the cloth bag manufacturing to the cloth bag vending machines. So on the one hand, we set up vending machines in frequented hotspots areas in Chennai, such as markets and also bus terminals and so on. And on the other hand, we support selected self-help groups that supply the bags to the cloth bag vending machines installed across the cities. Moreover, the project also consistently continues to support the social media outreach engagement on the Minu Mantapai campaign, along with the Department of Environment in Tamil Nadu. Coming to the manufacturing of cloth bags and the related self-help groups who are steering this, this is, of course, one key element here in this campaign. The project supported the training of more than 1,200 self-help group members, and more than 100 of those members have by now taken up the manufacturing of cloth bags as a livelihood. And alone in 2023, the involved self-help group members stitched more than 94,000 cotton bags. And of course, this is also bringing in this whole gender element, as a lot of those self-help group members are women. And they were able to increase their means of livelihood under this initiative. The project, in collaboration again with the Department of Environment in Tamil Nadu, has installed by now 4 vending machines across the city. And by now more than 6,000 bags have been supplied via those 4 vending machines in the year of 2023. Coming to the second upstream measure, which we are implementing in Tamil Nadu, this is focused on the reduce and reuse aspect of plastic packaging. CES project supports the pilot implementation of the reuse refill model, which aims to promote sustainable consumption practices and reduces plastic packaging among consumers. The refillable model of packaging replaces single-use or limited-use containers such as jars or bottles and boxes, so sort of shifting the perspective to a reuse refill economy. The project intervention refill truck, which you can see here also on the picture, promotes the reuse refill economy and provides a portable convenience store with a range of home care products in an eco-friendly and sustainable way. Working in Chennai, the startup offers products that are designed in such a way that the packaging is reduced and customers can use their own reusables or refillable packaging, which can be refilled at the selected locations. So this truck is moving around in selected areas and the consumer can come and refill their own jars or bottles and so on. By this, Refillable, which is a sustainability-focused startup, addresses the plastic pollution issues caused by the single-use plastic items and reduces the amount of plastic waste altogether. We have actually implemented this refillable model in all 3 states, and we started in Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. And as you can see here also on the slide, since the launch of the reuse refill model in Lucknow as well as in Chennai, There are more than 100 business partnerships which were established, and more than 1,500 households are now customers of the refillable truck. More than 6,000 liters of liquids was dispensed through the refillable truck. Coming to the downstream interventions which we are implementing in the state of Tamil Nadu. Again, you can see we have a mix of interventions here where we focus on improvement of plastic waste management, but also the setup of EPR models for urban local bodies, and also we work on discarded fishing nets. Coming to our interventions, which we are doing in regards to plastic waste management and zero waste measures. The project provides technical support to the Coimbatore bus terminus in Chennai. Here we supported the development of a new material recovery facility with the provision of a baling machine that has been established at the terminal. The pilot measure in Coimbatore bus terminus is focused to initiate improvements of the collection and sorting system. It also builds the capacity of the involved informal waste workers who are engaged in the daily operations of the facility. And moreover, the project supports the development of SOPs for the existing sorting station. Of course, we also have awareness campaigns and also the development and distribution of relevant information and education material in regards to source segregation, SUP-free premises, zero waste bus terminal, etc., is another cornerstone of this activity. Actually, since we started our work there, the recovery rate at baseline was 5%, which has been by now increased to more than 12%. However, we are also facing few challenges here. The recovery rate so far has been a bit limited due to the source segregation practices and the availability also of dedicated human resources in this sorting facility and also the baling facility. So this is a bit of a bottleneck we are facing at the moment. Coming to our EPR-led model, which we are implementing at Tamram in Tamil Nadu. So Tamram municipality is located close to Chennai. It's towards also the it's I think 25 kilometers away from Marina Beach, so not directly at the beach, but towards. And the pilot measures at Tamram focuses on working with the ULB waste management facilities, which are already in place, and also we are setting up structures to increase the recovery rate there, and also looking at tying up with private sectors to include an EPR-led approach together with the public sector here. As you can see here, we have 3 different areas. One, as I just now said, working with the ULBs, one with the recovery and strengthening the system for end of life of non-inert materials, as well as low value plastics, and developing a business model. This actually, the first 2 elements, the work with the ULBs is already established, and here we are providing capacity building as well as training to the existing staff which is working at that facility. And the third element of developing a business model, this is about to start now. Here we want to link the municipal facility with the private sector to undertake plastic waste recovery, and again focusing on the low value plastic. I would just like to highlight one of the challenges which we faced here now in our intervention. The floods which affected the floods which took place last year, end of last year in Tamil Nadu, affected the facility quite substantially. So this had an effect on the workability of the setting there as well. And so this also kind of highlighted for us the need of a resilient infrastructure, especially in the coastal area. of those facilities. Coming to the last downstream intervention, which we are implementing in Tamil Nadu. Here we work with discarded fishing nets and the management thereof in Patinampakam Beach. Patinampakam Beach is a beach in Chennai, and the project aims to demonstrate here circular economy solutions with a focus on discarded fishing nets. The beach is located in the southern part of Chennai, and the community residing around Patinampakam Beach consists of more than 10,000 families spread across 7 communities. Among these 10,000 families, approximately 30% are engaged in fishing activities, either as fishermen or fisherwomen. The Patinampakam Fish Market, consisting of around 300 shops, generates not only fish waste, but also mixed waste. The fish waste is stored separately, while the mixed waste, which includes 10% of plastic waste, is sent currently to a landfill for disposal. Together with selected self-help groups, the Circular Economy Solutions Preventing Marine Litter project, along with the Department of Environment, developed a demonstration model, which has been implemented for multi-stakeholder setup. The women self-help groups have been provided with training and sorting of nets as per quality and requirements of aggregators and recyclers. The self-help groups formed at Patinampakam Beach are leading the collection of discarded fishing nets from the community. The model started functioning in November 2023 and was able to, in this 1 month or 1 or 2 months, it was able to channelize more than 700 kgs of discarded fishing nets. So this proposed intervention aims to provide crucial support for implementing community-based circular economy solutions, aiming at preserving ocean-based economy by better management of discarded fishing nets. The model actually shows good scalability perspectives due to the increased interests from the community itself and also other stakeholders in the value chain. Coming now to the second state under the CES project, Kerala. I would like to again go into the details of first our upstream interventions, which we are implementing here. We again have the refillable, we start with the woman livelihood, where we are promoting eco alternatives for banned SUP items through the self-help groups. Here, the pilot project seeks to establish and run self-help groups that manufacture alternatives to SUP plastics in Trivandrum. In order to produce and market alternatives to SUP, support was provided to self-help groups on capacity building and session focused on ensuring product quality, better marketing, and financial management. The products focused under the projects which are manufactured are clothes and paper bags, clothes, sanitary bags, bamboo products, and other things. In the pilot city of Trivandrum, we were able to identify 70 members of the women collective Kudumshri for undertaking the manufacture of plastic alternatives as a livelihood option. At the moment, the project supports 5 self-help groups, and this is an ongoing activities where we are also in the process of scaling this up at the moment. As mentioned earlier, the refillable truck as being the model of refillable is being implemented in all 3 states, so also in Kerala. While in Tamil Nadu, this is an established model and we have a mix of B2B and B2C. We in Kerala, in Trivandrum, we focus entirely on B2B engagement, and the project was able to tie up with 3 companies and was able to reduce plastic packaging by 260 kilograms through this model so far. But this is only at the moment in the trial stage, so also an ongoing process. When we look at the implementation of downstream measures in Kerala, we have two approaches. One is related to piloting zero waste measures in the Veli tourist village in Trivandrum. The second one is the strengthening, again, of low-value plastics, an EPR-based model also in Trivandrum. Our pilot intervention in the Veli tourist village aims to identify and deploy solutions to address marine-bound plastic litter. It targets the reduction of litter entering the sea and envisions establishing a safe, self-sustainable waste management model. The key focus includes creating a sustainable waste management system, implementing innovative solutions, defining stakeholder roles, and conducting awareness campaigns, and promoting also alternatives for sustainable plastic waste management. Maybe as a background, the Veli tourist village has a footfall of 700 to 1,000 people per day on a weekday and 3,500 to 4,000 people over weekends. And so far, there was no real system of waste management for both wet and dry in place, and also the sanitation staff lacked adequate knowledge on waste management practice. So the project aims at developing basic systems of waste management and building capacities of the sanitation workforce, and also channelizing waste collection and management via the formal system, the Harita Karma Sena. As already mentioned, we are looking at different intervention areas within this project, be it the establishment of a sustainable waste management model, but also developing green protocol guidelines, and also implementing innovative solutions to reduce marine litter, which again also goes through the means of educational campaigns, but also identifying roles and responsibilities of all involved stakeholders, along with the necessary technical support through, of course, training and capacity building, and so on. Coming to the last project intervention, which I would like to present here for the state of Kerala. Here this is again related to an EPR-led pilot model for plastic waste management in Trivandrum. The project implements a demonstration project here for plastic packaging in 3 selected coastal wards. Currently, we are supporting the decentralized plastic waste management practices in these wards, and these 3 wards are have an extremely vulnerable population, primarily engaged in fishing, and they also exhibit a tightly knit structure with clear social hierarchy within those settings. So the overall aim of our intervention is not only to reduce the amount of litter that washes into the sea from the city of Trivandrum, but also collect materials and sort it and send it for final plastic waste processors, and possibly generate plastic credits, working closely again with the PBOs and plastic waste processors. Here also we again work closely with the existing Harita Karma Sena and in a self-help group model, and we also do awareness creation and capacity building for a variety of stakeholders. So far, 5,000 households and 30,000 inhabitants have been addressed with this intervention, and the project was able to manage more than 140 tons of waste until December 2023, and works again closely with the public sector as well as the actors working along the waste value chain here in Trivandrum. I would now like to come to the third coastal state we are working in, which is Goa. But before doing that, I would just like to embed this our work here in the broader context of the EU Resource Efficiency Initiative. As I mentioned earlier, this our work in Goa is being implemented under the umbrella of the EU Resource Efficiency Initiative. So I would just like to embed our work in the broader context of this before going into the details of our Goa work. The EU Resource Efficiency Initiative started back in 2017, so we are now in our 7th year of implementation. GIZ has been throughout the lead implementation agency together with a consortium consisting of the Energy and Resources Institute, TERI, and a German consult agency, which is Adelphi, and also the Confederation of Indian Industry, CII. The emphasis of the EU REI lies on dialogue, coordination, advocacy, and raising awareness. And the project puts the EU-India Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy Partnership, which was launched in July 2020, at the center of its implementation. Throughout the past years, the EU REI contributed to the implementation of the Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy Partnership by assessing India's current and future needs, facilitating partnerships between EU and Indian businesses and stakeholders, and also raising awareness on the need for resource-efficient approaches in India. EU REI has been successful in mainstreaming a life cycle approach to understanding material consumption in selected sectors, such as steel and aluminium, mobility, construction and building sector, as well as renewable energy. The project further contributed to the development of the National Strategy on Resource Efficiency with NITI Aayog and the draft National Resource Efficiency Policy by MOFCC. Coming to our work in Goa, the project supported the preparation of Goa's state-level resource efficiency and circular economy strategy in 2020 and its subsequent implementation from 2021 onwards. Currently, Goa is the only state in India which has a circular economy state strategy of its own in place. And for us as a project, this strategy, of course, builds a robust prerequisite for the development and implementation of CE, circular economy related activities in Goa. One of our focus areas of intervention in Goa is related to the prevention of discarded fishing nets into the marine ecosystem. Here, the EU REI works closely with the State Pollution Control Board and the Fishery Department. Goa's fishing industry constitutes about 2.5% of the state's GDP, and the fishery sector provides a livelihood for many in the coastal state. However, 18% of marine litter on Goa's coast consists of discarded fishing nets and discarded fishing gear. This is a threat not only to the economy, but also to the environment. And especially in our conversations in our pilot model under the EU REI, we went to the fisher community to identify together what is the local value chain that they have with the discarded fishing nets, how often do they discard the fishing nets, and what are the solutions that they are looking at. What we found out is that new fishing nets are usually used somewhere between 1 to 2 months to 1 year, and are depending on the usage of the frequency of the usage. And upon purchasing a new net, the old nets are usually discarded in the ocean or at the beach, and then somehow they end up in the ocean. Based on this, a pilot demonstration project was initiated to create a collection mechanism for old and unused nets. The EU REI has initiated an ecosystem aiming to empower the local fishing community to turn these discarded nets into opportunities. This ecosystem includes the collection and storage and subsequent preparation for selling the nets to the aggregators. Once the system falls in place, this will enable the fishing community to store and then sell their old nets to the scrap dealers, of course also increasing again their own livelihoods. The better the segregation of the nets, the better the pricing the fishing community can get. And after this, then the nets are transported to the recycling facilities for processing. We of EU REI, we work for this implementation closely together with our partner Aquafil. Aquafil is one of the only, or maybe the only company in the world which is recycling nylon 6, which is the material of the nets. And together with Aquafil, we provide training and capacity building to the involved members of the fishing community in order to be able to further sell the discarded fishing net, because it's crucial that the segregation of the discarded nets is done in a way that they can then collect it in a systematic way, where nylon 6 is can be then sent in bulk to the aggregator to be then sent to the recycler. This pilot has been currently taken up in 3 fishing villages, and based on the collection drives which have been ongoing, there's a high likelihood that this will be upscaled also to other fishing villages in Goa as well. Also, the State Pollution Control Board and the Fishery Department has shown a big interest in this initiative, and so there's a scalability aspect also when looking at this intervention here. I would like to come to my last slide, and I will not go through all the points here, but maybe just flag a few of them. Of course, throughout those last 6-7 years of those 2 projects where we implement these interventions in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Goa, there are quite a few learnings which we can take away from our end. One is, of course, quite obvious, but still would like to highlight this, that when we talk about marine litter, it doesn't start only in the marine or riverine ecosystem, it starts before that. And so for us, it was very important to really also look into the land-based and waste which is sourced at land, and then look into these elements and try to improve, for example, in Tamram, in the facility what I mentioned, to also look into the waste management from the land-based angle, so that it doesn't even leak into the marine ecosystem at one point. Also, talking about Tamram, I would like to highlight the resilience aspect, which I mentioned earlier. This is something what we have come across also quite often now in the recent past, that the resilience of the infrastructure is really a key, especially when we talk about coastal cities. This was a big learning for us when we talk about recovery or collection and transportation, but also the reduction of leakage. There needs to be a resilient infrastructure in place to really contain and be able to control these different steps along the management of the waste. Then talking maybe also about two of our specific interventions. One is the refillable. This has been quite interesting and also successful pilot, where we of course have to, like always, work in the triangle of public, private, and civil society. And here what we as a learning takeaway, that this, although it has been quite successful and the consumer shows a big interest in the refillable model, as well as the state level, they show a big interest, there still needs to be, it requires a proactive support from the brands, and also a kind of ownership of the brands to also step more into this whole element of the reuse refill economy. And this probably will, what we feel still needs a bit of time, maybe awareness also, and to rope in more private sectors and brands to really step up the game in this refillable bit. And maybe just one last note, when we talk about livelihood, our work with the especially women's self-help group has been really, really crucial. And here, especially when we look at Mino Manjapai, our campaign from Tamil Nadu, this was quite an experience, because this really took off the ground and was really taken up by the consumers also a lot. And that's why we saw also, apart from the fact that self-help groups really could increase their livelihood here, and also from the consumer angle, this has been an interesting experience and has spilled over, as I already mentioned, to a lot of other states in India. And this was for us also a good learning to see that this collaborative and campaign mode, and also bringing people into the movement and sort of creating this movement together, is really something what what takes off the ground as well, and was quite successful for us in the implementation. Yeah, and I would stop here now. And yeah, thank you for your attention so far, and open for questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Katharina. It was a very insightful presentation. If you could unshare your screen so that you can see the participants and we can see you. So do we have any questions? Any questions? Okay.
Thanks, Catherine, for a really exhaustive list of interventions that's being done in India. One very simple data that could help policymakers. What is the cost of collecting the low-value plastics? The EPR as such has not triggered the collection of low-value plastics. So what has been collected and transacted on the EPR platform is the traditional material, high-value PET, high-value SDP, some types of PP and LDP, some types of that. So that's what is been done. And that was already happening prior to the EPR also. So if you can throw some light on the low-value plastics and the cost of collection of the low-value plastic, but that's what we find in the marine litter. The second question is more from the economic point of view or economics. What is there an evidence that replacing the cloth bags actually has diminished the use of normal poly bags that is generally is given in the marketplaces? And what, either in the short term or the long term, what is the cost for a city or for a state to adopt this practice? Because that's, I believe, is the larger objective of the circular economy under which it is being promoted, apart from the light that you talked about. And finally, you have been operating and supporting quite many MRFs in India. What kind of material is coming in these MRFs? Yesterday, somebody gave an interesting example that the biggest MRF that is being run in Indore, only 12% of the material is sellable. The rest of the material is non-sellable, non-recyclable. Either it's contaminated or for different reasons, composites, multi-layers. And if somebody has to really collect those low-value plastics to prevent it from going to the water sources, whether river or sea, what would it really take in terms of policy formulation and economic support to do that? Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much for the question. Starting with the first one and the low-value plastic. And well, here, as I mentioned, we are in the process of developing a business model around this, because, of course, this, as you mentioned, is a big challenge to really also look at the economic factor and find out what are the costs and how does it match in the end, that also the stakeholders who need to be involved are willing to involve. And so, as I mentioned in Tamram, we are now in the process of developing this. So I cannot give a clear answer here, except that we are, of course, always also depending on the private sector here, and we are in the process of finding the right and suitable stakeholders who are interested to explore this realm. But it is a challenge. It's something what needs to be defined clearly, and also there has to be, of course, also a benefit for the stakeholder to be in it. So this is something we are looking at the moment, and we are hopeful that it turns into a positive, because we do have quite strong commitment from specific PBOs there around the Tamram municipal facilities who are participating in this initiative, but this is yet to come out. Then for the second question, sorry, this was related to, not the MRF, this was related to, sorry, can you just drop one keyword, which the second
cloth
question
bags
was?
and replacing
Cloth
with,
bags, yes,
poly
exactly,
bags.
yes. So this is something, of course, we had to look at this in advance, and maybe I can also share in the aftermath. I don't have it here with me directly. I can maybe share something about that also with CSE. Maybe you can share it then back to the participants of today's group here. We have looked into this. We've done a life cycle assessment. We have, of course, always also in our GIZ projects. Generally, we look at to try to connect our interventions to CO2 emission methodology, and also to understand what is now the carbon footprint of a cloth bag here, and does it actually, in what relation does it stand to a plastic ban, to a plastic bag? Of course, now here we are targeting the ban of the plastic bag, and we are trying to replace the banned plastic bags. But it, of course, is always, this is something what we did up front to look into the CO2 footprint of both of those elements, and in how far a cotton bag is actually better than, or also from a cost effectiveness angle. We had that assessment done. And yeah, I would share those outcomes with you afterwards. And for when we talk about the last question, the MRF here, it depends. I think, like, the question was related to what material do we get, right? I mean, I think it depends a little bit on the MRF and also the scope of the MRF. As you rightly said, I mean, GIZ also supports across India a lot of MRFs, and this really depends on the location of the MRF and also on the scope of the MRF. And what we are looking at here in the project is, as I said, especially the plastic angle. So, but for example, the MRF which we set up in the Coimbatore bus terminal, of course, gets all sorts of streams. And we are, as I said, the recovery rate has now only come up to 12%. So I think this is pretty much in line with what you also mentioned just now. But here we also only talk about the plastic waste. So it looks still different for the others. And I think from my experience, it depends always a bit also on the facilities which are available in the MRF itself. For example, I can give you an example from an intervention from a completely different project, which we implemented in Haridwar and Rishikesh. Here we also set up an MRF, and we had a biocompost also. So I think here it was again different because everything bio was going into the composting. So we did have more facilities to segregate better, and there was also somehow I think the training capacities then of the staff which was working there was really also tuned into really segregating in detail the things. And then, of course, it depends, are you connected also to an RDF facility and so on? So I think it always depends a little bit on the location, and also, I mean, at least from my experience, how is the MRF connected in the broader network of other facilities, be it co-processing or so on and so on, and how can we then see what is in the end processed or not. But yeah, I think that would be my answer to this. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions?
Thanks, Catherine, for an interesting presentation. And I see while looking at the presentation that you see different kind of adoption of refillables in different cities. So based on your experience, what do you think is the barrier in scaling up these refillables to other cities that want to adopt?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Yeah, I think, as mentioned towards the end, one of the key challenges we see is really the engagement of brands in this, because while, as I said, there's a huge interest of the customers, and which is somehow coming in almost naturally when the refillable truck is moving around in colonies, also through awareness campaigns, but still it gauges interest, I guess, seeing this kind of a truck being present in your local surrounding and where you can refill. So I think the consumer is not so much the bottleneck, it's really the brands at this point and that is something what we are looking at the moment, to really find also brands which are interested in tying up with a model like this, and being kind of part of this whole endeavor. And of course, there needs to be a benefit for the brand as well. And I think this is all kind of interconnected, right? If there's a need, and this might come in maybe from when we look at the EPR targets and so on, maybe this can be more there could be an increased requirement from also PBOs to be interested in some model like this. And from a city, like if you talk about cities and bringing this to other cities, there we don't really see. I mean, there was a huge interest throughout from also cities' perspectives to have the refillable truck there as well. So I think this whole concept flies very nicely with the public sector as well as with the consumer, with the brands and the private sector. It's a bit of I think there needs to be maybe few more steps, or also kind of more visible benefits or incentives for the private sector to engage more into this kind of a thing. And of course, from our angle, ideal would be to have, like, I don't know, a couple of brands which really kind of associate with the refillable model and are then present in those trucks as well. I think that would be, of course, ideal. But this is a bit where the bottleneck lies at the moment in terms of scalability.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Katharina, for that response. So it's already 10:30, so I will not take more of your time. But I thank you for this very insightful presentation and this very interactive session. We'll keep in touch, and I request if you can share the presentation, and if we have any questions, we might get back to you on that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Katharina.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Had so far in the coalition of coastal cities. So we were able to create this coalition around April last year. And it was at a very nascent stage because there was very little, or you can say there is almost nothing that we can find in the Indian policy space to deal with this problem. So we wanted to understand the magnitude of the problem, what are the possible sources of litter. So we had many colleagues who are right now present in this room, even in the first event that we did in April last year. And from the learning that we had from all the colleagues, all the celebrated practitioners, many of them are right here and you may like to interact with them. So we collected all those learning and we put them together in a document, and we tried to arrive at a draft strategy, which is right in front of you. You may like to take a look. The list of speakers and panelists are also there in the agenda, right on top of it. So, so basically, what we learned that marine litter is majorly a land-based mismanagement of different types of waste. Why the coastal cities are very critical, or the coastal establishment are critical, because they're at the downstream. So whatever land-based mismanaged waste basically reaching the coast or the coastal settlements, so they are burdened with managing their own waste in addition to the waste that are flowing from the upstream to their settlements and eventually ending up in the ocean bed. So between April and now, while we have been researching to arrive at a draft strategy paper. So in this event, basically, we had many of the colleagues back to this room to have a look at what we have put out in the strategy paper. And this event basically is looking at the strategy paper. So we have divided this entire 3 days event into 5 broad sectors. So we tried to identify the possible sources of marine litter, and we started putting them in different panels. Say that the 4 major sources of marine litters are mismanaged solid waste, both from land-based activities and coastal activities. Then we have abandoned, lost, or discarded fishing gears, which also constitute a good amount of litter. And then we have litter from the tourism sector. And then we have litter from industrial activities, mostly in the petrochem sector, who are kind of manufacturers of raw materials of plastic, like pellets, flakes, powders, etc. We recently had few incidents as well, where those wastes have also been found floating on the ocean bed. So that's basically the journey. So each panel is dealing with, say, one subset or one source of marine litter, and also deliberating upon what can we do for the upstream, midstream, and the downstream measures. And there is discussions on how do we introspect the existing policy space to introduce this agenda and then engage with the decision makers for further advocacy, and also how the existing implementation mechanism can be re-engineered to also address marine litter in addition to managing the other, the streams of waste basically, which are ending up in the ocean bed. So for the participants, like I explained when we introduced CSE and ATI, that the work that we are doing in India is part of India-Norway bilateral agreement to reduce marine litter. And so we have done research, training, advocacy, deep dive support, hand-holding support, everything. And we are extremely happy to have Honorable Ambassador of Norway to India. So before I invite her to speak, I would like to very briefly introduce her. And ma'am, we are also live streaming this event. So we are joined by many virtual participants who couldn't be here because of many reasons. So I'll just put it on the screen so that everybody can see what I'm going to talk about. So Her Excellency May-Elin Stine, the Ambassador of Norway to India. She is currently the Ambassador of Norway to India since 2020. She has been Deputy Director General of the Regional Department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Norway, covering Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East, as well as peace and reconciliation issues. Until 2020, May-Elin headed the section for Horn of Africa and West Africa. She has been Norway's Deputy Permanent Representative to the United Nations headquarters in New York between 2014 to 2018, as well as Deputy Head of the Norwegian Embassy in Pretoria, South Africa between 2007 and 2011. She has worked for the Norwegian Foreign Service since 1995, and her extensive diplomatic experience multilaterally with a focus on humanitarian affairs. She has also been posted to the UN offices in Geneva and has also headed the section for humanitarian affairs in the ministry. So thank you so much, Ambassador. I would now request you to please come and address the participants.
There's Sunita. There, Atin. Thank you so much. I am really happy to be here. And to be here with all of you, and then also understand those who are listening online as well. So that's quite a lot of interest for this second national workshop on of the Coalition of Coastal Cities to Combat Marine Litter. And that is really good because it is important. I've been walking around the campus since I arrived a little. It's a very beautiful green campus. I When I originally planned to come here, I wanted to come yesterday and stay overnight. But unfortunately, I was not able to do that since we had the board of the Norwegian government-owned Climate Investment Fund in Delhi yesterday. So when I came here now, and I've been here for now almost 2 hours, I even more regret that I could not spend more time with you, but I'm really looking forward to the next couple of hours here. I'm quite a new ambassador to India. I arrived here now almost 5 months ago. I'm really still fascinated with the diversity, with the beauty and the warmth of the people of this country. There's been such a great welcome here from Indians in person and in social media. So thank you very much. If any of you also have been part of that, some of you have. And let me also say that in Norway, we have significantly strengthened our presence in India the last years. We enjoy very constructive and close relations, and we will continue to develop and strengthen those relations. Both on the trade side, the trade is steadily growing, and on the investment side, Norwegian Pension Fund Global is one of the largest foreign sovereign wealth fund investors in India. And as I mentioned, the Norwegian investment fund Norfund, they are also investing a lot in India, especially in the renewable energy sector. We have excellent cooperation with India also in the area of blue economy, circular economy, renewables, food security, research, and higher education. And we have between Norway and India a strong and long cooperation in the field of environment. Many of you here would probably know this already and have been part of it. I just wanted to mention it to draw the bigger picture before we talk about what you are here for to talk about. Let me also just say that, you know, coming to India and being in India from Norway, what strikes me is how different our countries are. India is about 10 times bigger than Norway, and the population of Norway is a little less than the population of Himachal Pradesh. We are located on the other side of the globe, and we have a constitutional monarchy. But still, we do have some things in common as well. One of those are that we both have very long coastlines. I don't know if you've looked at the map on how Norway looks like, but you will see that if you look at the map. And both India and Norway, we can call ourselves, and we like to call ourselves ocean nations. This long coastline and the seas and oceans around it provide valuable marine resources as well as energy security. Maritime security is also important for both of us. I was in Gujarat 2 weeks ago for the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit, which you have probably also heard about. There were many Norwegian companies there. And that really strengthened my belief that there is much potential to partner even more on renewable energy and making the maritime industries greener. We are now pioneering the development of green technologies within key areas such as hydrogen, floating offshore wind, carbon capture and storage, as well as alternative fuels and electric battery ferries. So this is a bit closer to what this workshop is about. And I must also say, like India, also in Norway, we struggle with marine litter. And I must say, first, I would like to congratulate India on the ban on single-use plastics. Even if we still have a very long way to go, and you have a long way to go, it is a good start. For Norway, collaboration on combating plastic pollution is a big priority. It is now more than 3 years since both India and Norway have been actively collaborating under the India-Norway Marine Pollution Initiative. I'm really glad that CSE is also part of this initiative, and you are probably learning about it these days. It is really bringing valuable knowledge, conducting pilots, and building capacity. CSE has engaged people like you, and you are really important people here because you are the ones who are in your communities making these things happen. So I really believe that you will be change makers. So let me also say congratulations to all of you for being members of this coalition of coastal cities to combat marine litter. The coastal cities can and will play an important role in ensuring that plastic waste and litter do not reach the sea. You can demonstrate good practices for the inland cities to follow. As we speak now, Norway, India, and several other countries are negotiating and developing an international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including in the marine environment. In the international this is called like the International Negotiation Committee on Plastic Pollution. It's taking place in Nairobi under the auspices of the United Nations Environmental Programme. This, when the negotiations are finished, will be a historical legal instrument that hopefully will be completed already this year. So these are quite exciting times in the prevention of plastic pollution. So let's hope that we can reap the benefits of this and this treaty also. I have looked into some of the studies being done in this field, and I was quite upset by one recent study that shows that a single average 1 liter bottle of water contains 240,000 plastic fragments. These previously undetected microplastics suggest that the health risks associated with plastic pollution may even be more severe than we have thought so far. There are a couple of other studies that also indicate that there is a substantial amount of microplastics in Indian dump sites, which has a serious impact on the surrounding environment. So this is what we and you are facing, and we need to focus on and work against. So then it's also good to look at the better news, a more positive one, and that's conducted by a Norwegian research center called NORCE. They found that plastic cleanups are effective. It helps to do something. They studied the effect of cleaning up an island in Norway, and the result was that cleaning plastic waste could reduce the amount of microplastics in the surrounding ocean by 99.5%, almost 100%, just by doing the work. I did that just 2 weeks after coming to India, I was in Mumbai with the Afroz Shah Foundation, participating in the beach cleanups that they do there every weekend. So then it really feels good to have been part of something that helps. It was really also impressive to see the substantial work they are doing on reducing the amount of plastic spilling into our oceans. But also during those days I spent in Mumbai, I saw people standing on the bridge just throwing the plastic into the ocean. I was quite shocked by it. So they openly litter, and then of course it helps to clean, but it's better not to litter. So this is the challenges that we face, and we still have a lot of work to do. The responsibility for combating plastic pollution is shared by governments, by producers, and consumers. I think that there is global consensus on the urgent need to deal with this plastic pollution effectively and quickly. I'm sure you also agree. And thank you very much for the invitation to speak to you and to meet you. And I really also hope to come out and see some of the work that you are doing as a follow-up to this workshop. And then this is the second day of your workshop. I hope it will be really successful, and it's been really great to be here, and it will be for the next hours also to speak to you. Thank you so much.
We'll take, I think a lot of people here would love to interact with the ambassador. So I hope it's okay. So questions, issues. Also, I think it'll be good for the ambassador to hear the work that you're doing and any of the issues that you would like to bring. Maybe, can I start with Rajamundry? I was talking about Rajamundry today. So, Saida.
Before Saida Didi speaks, let me also share that we have Mr. Suresh Mathavan from the Norwegian Embassy. He is an advisor with the cooperation cell that deals with environment. We also have Mari with us. So I met Mari for the first time. So Suresh and Mari, welcome. And if you could just wave your hands towards the participants so that. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. So my name is Saida. I'm working on solid waste management in Rajamahendravaram, Andhra Pradesh. So I would like to more say about this session. Like last year, April around, we had this invitation from CSC. So we were very excited. When we look to CSC, it's for learning, and we go back and implement on what we learn here. So when they invited us for like Coalition of Coastal Cities, as Rajamahendravaram is also a coastal city where we have a river Godavari, one of the highest river in India also. So we are also issuing this litter issue. So we came here, we had a word, we have learned what they really wanted to convey, because this litter, what you have recently told, you have seen in Mumbai, people are throwing directly. So one set of people, they are not individual responsible. Other set of people are working. It should be everybody individual responsibility. When it comes, then there will be much impact. So and thank you for like inviting for this session also. Much more to learn, and this done work by Siddharth strategy paper is really good. I've been through this. That's it. Okay.
Some experiences.
Okay.
How you were able to use
Okay, ma'am. So bulk waste generators, we have almost like 78 bulk waste generators, including a temple, ISKCON temple, where they are feeding more than 2,000 children midday meals program under the midday meals program. So we used to collect that waste and like treat it into the, like when I was there, it was like everything was into the dump site. We directly, we don't have processing plant over there. Then slowly, what we have started segregating it, collecting at the source. And we have a plant, like we have 4 plants of 3 TPD of each vermi plants, where we are bifurcating our wet waste directly there, and we are making compost, vermicompost. And we have 50 TPD of windrow platform, where we are segregated, and again segregated waste we are doing compost. And we have set up MRFs also, and reduce, reuse, recycle ward wise. We have 50 wards in our area. So we have in each ward the citizens who cannot as you know, we have old clothes at our house and we don't know what to do, and sometimes we throw it in the garbage, sometimes we use it, we keep for a stock. When we get fit, we can use it. So we have raised a campaign where our PH workers go door to door while collecting the garbage. They ask for these clothes also. So we have established full-fledgedly these reduce, reuse, recycle centers at ward level, MRF centers at ward level, and one central decentralized system we have learned here. We have learned bulk waste generators management. And I really am really so happy after going from here. I was totally focused on door-to-door collection, but not focused on BWGs. Because if you see hotels, apartments, RWAs are one of the 50 to 60% of the waste come from this sector. So I was not focused to that sector. I was every time concentrating on door-to-door, door-to-door, door-to-door. But after going from here, I focused on these 2 sectors. Then the impact was really much. So we are like doing wet waste, we are doing composting, different types of composting, black soldier fly, vermicomposting, and window composting. Dry waste, we are using MRF centers, we are recycling it. The remaining RDF, we are trying to like have solution for it. So biomining, we have started recently. So these 3 parts we have, and BWGs we are handling. So next coming to like, I wish ki next time whenever Atinda calls me, I'll be working on litter at the collecting this, trying sort of find any solution not to let the litter. As you see, Godavari River, one of the thing yesterday I want to share, I don't know it is right or not, but most of our southern part, there is a tradition ki we go and have a bath in and leave the clothes there itself. So textile waste is also major issue. It's not about Hindus, it's not about Muslims, both the community do it. So clothes will be flowing. When we see when you collect the litter at marine, you can see 30 to 40% clothes only. So plastic and clothes, textile waste is also major issue I find in my region. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Who else would like to talk about the work? What about you from Lakshadweep? The work that you're doing there? So Saida is in the government. Who spoke? Vinita is a non-government. Civil society.
We have a person from Lakshadweep itself over here. Yes. Naushad is here.
Maybe you can also add to what you're doing there, because islands are so important. Please.
I've been going to the Lakshadweep since 1989. And so over the last 30 years, I've been observing changes over there. And in 1998, I set up my own foundation, but with a different philosophy. It was to, I didn't want to build an institution that I had to manage. And it was more to work with the people in Lakshadweep, in the mountains where I had done my PhD, and to help them set up an institution and to, whatever they wanted to do. So I tried that a couple of times. And in the since last 2 years, I've been working with Naushad's foundation. So they are young people who decided they wanted to do research for themselves and talk about their own island and, contribute themselves rather than have people, not say like me, but other young researchers come and they do their research and they go away. And they are just the data providers, who help them with their work. So now they set up for themselves. But I'll say a little bit about marine litter. I've been concerned a lot about marine litter for a long time because I'm a scuba diver. I go snorkeling. I work as the socioeconomic, socioeconomic regional coordinator for South Asia. So I've been like visiting islands, seeing the problem of marine debris, but I never ever knew how to sort of bring it to focus. There was no data available. So in 2019, while doing a socioeconomic survey in Minicoy in the Lakshadweep, I brought marine debris into the survey as one of the variables that needed to be studied. So I'll actually be talking about this tomorrow. But anyway, in that study, it was just, we did one quadrant, 100 meters by 25 meters. In that one quadrant, we, over 2 hours, we collected every little piece of debris we found. The beach looked kind of clean. It did not look like one dirty beach like you would see in Chennai, but this beach looked pretty clean. And we collected almost 12,000 pieces of litter. And the pieces of litter were so tiny. So then but there was a point to be made because this was an immersive learning experience. So when we collected these 12,000 pieces of litter, sat and segregated to find out, what is plastic, clothing, shoes, whatnot we found over there. 90% of it was plastic. Another about 5% or so was clothing. And a lot of it is synthetic clothing. So it doesn't biodegrade either. So this kind of alarmed us a lot, because we were doing it for ourselves. It was not 2 trillion, pieces of plastic floating in the ocean and all this data that we'd been hearing, but we saw for ourselves. Then we started questioning because there were people from the community and there was immediate reaction. So some of the women who were working there went back to the village, declared it plastic free. They started collecting bags and things themselves. There were some school teachers who were helping with this debris collection. So they went and started, projects with their students and like talking more about plastics. And some women, they started using all the used uniforms and made them into shopping bags. These were like immediate things which happened over a period of a week. So we see that things are possible, but this immersive learning is a very strong way of doing things.
Let me now turn to. Okay, no, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Yeah, actually, I'm from Lakshadweep, born and brought up in Lakshadweep. In 2020, we have started organization Reef. Basically, I'm a marine biologist. We are doing marine biodiversity documentation and this the coral reef area. We are doing coral transplantation also we are doing. Actually, the main problem is the people are not aware about this plastic pollution and things. And recently, they have started the FRP boat making. So they are making on the beach. All the waste all the microplastic are on the beach. That is the main thing. We are doing that. Every month we are meeting these fishermen and people. aware about these things and saying this is very dangerous situation we are facing, that kind of method we are using. But some people are saying that what to do, we have no any option about around these things to store any way. That is the main things we are facing. So I'm doing that for awareing these kind of things to do
Thank you.
my best.
Yeah, let me now just invite Dr. Prabhakar Mishra. So Dr. Prabhakar Mishra is a senior scientist with the National Center for Coastal Research. Yeah.
In National Institute of Ocean Technology, Chennai. You are there. So we have actually 2 months ago, and yeah, I was there also. So yeah, we are working with Norwin. We have 2 programs. One is for Lakshadweep and another for Puducherry. That is a spatial planning. Yeah, that is going on. And marine litter, I think we have started some initial work. We are also doing for along with you, Norwin. Yeah. So we are working along with Norway. So we are collecting some of the data informations. Yeah. So Professor Zakaria, would you like to just share your thoughts?
We're just neighbor. We're just neighbor on the same floor. So I'm new in the plastic business and more in technology part of bringing technological solution. And it's amazing, you say, even though we have many good decision on how to handle garbage and separate plastic, etc., we still have a lot of plastic on our beaches. So the easiest behavior is to say it's coming from somewhere else. So let's solve the problem somewhere else. In this case, nothing happened. The other way is to really look for solution. Why do we find those on the floor? Mainly because people think they have no value. Has no cost for them, they don't care. But it has a big cost for the other people. So it's a way that I'm not responsible, the other one will take care of it. And I'm convinced the only way to change this behavior is to bring a cost to people. Put a deposit, €1, 100 rupee. When it comes that much, people think twice. I will not throw it away. I will put it in the specific garbage place. There's a lot of, we have seen very interesting actions before, very local actions, which is perfect. But when you want to bring it to national level like India, you will face a lot of difficulties. Some will like the approach, some will not like. But an approach like this, which of course it's not easy to propose this before election, definitely. But it's also, we have to include this aspect. But someone who doesn't care to be re-elected can impose this, because this is a way to make people responsible. Actually, they feel unresponsible because it doesn't cost anything. Sorry to insist on that, because I'm convinced this is the only way
we are here for. Okay.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Gauri Ganesh, and I work as a project manager for Plastic Fisher. It's an absolute honor to be in your presence, ma'am. So Plastic Fisher is a German social enterprise that deals with collecting riverine plastic. So I am the project manager for Trivandrum. So what we do is something very simple. We put interventions in the rivers, that is at the sources of collection prior to it entering the oceans, and we collect plastic manually. So we put basic barriers, which is not an obstruction, but rather an intervention, and we collect plastic from it. I would like to put across that it's been quite successful, and this is exactly why I wanted to let you know that something like this is being done, because Trivandrum is quite a small city. It's 1.7 million population and 214 square kilometer area. And we have been operational for 2 years. In less than 2 years, we have collected over 275 tons of plastic from the waters alone. It is quite the number because this only from the water. So this actually gives you an idea and put things into perspective of how much we are polluting the waters. I was born and raised in Trivandrum. I knew that there was a plastic pollution, but I never realized that it was this bad until I got myself involved on the ground. So I think we all need a reality check and we all need to focus. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm the partnerships manager at Plastic Fish. I just wanted to add to what Gauri just said. So we don't just collect the waste, we manage it end to end. Of course, we incinerate most of the MLP that we get and recycle the rest of the stuff that's recyclable. But I think right now in India, we are probably the only ones who provide trash booms and also manage the end-to-end solution. I mean, it's very easy to put a boom in the river, but the main job starts essentially after putting the boom and once the waste starts getting collected there. And we do it on a daily basis. And the other thing that I wanted to add was how we are making this model workable is we employ people from the unorganized sector who are typical scrap pickers in every local destination that we are operating in. So Trivandrum is one of our project sites. Besides that, we also have 2 project sites in UP as well, in Kanpur and Varanasi. The Kanpur one is supported by a marine litter project of GIZ as well. So I mean, just wanted to highlight our work so that in future it's a very simple solution, but it's a very efficient solution to the problem. And yeah, we would like that this solution go out more and more, to more people so that it can be implemented and expanded. Thank you. Yeah.
Can we have Odisha from Odisha? Can you just talk about the problems and solutions? Whatever you want to use this one.
Yeah, myself Subhashis Mohanty, working in Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation. Okay, earlier there is no system to manage and process the waste, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Right now we have established micro-composting center as well as MRF center. So 22 MRF center. Right now we have collected the material in a segregated form and recycle it at the doorstep in segregated form. And weight is been to the MCC and MRF is dry waste. Right now we have sell more than 30 lakhs every day. I mean 30 lakhs in a month generated money from that waste. And every day we have alternate days send RDF to the cement factory. So right now we are much more check the waste to the abandoned form and not been through the drain right now. So we are certain amount of check and balance form in our city right now. Bhubaneswar. Yeah.
I was there on Thursday for Mathivatnam sir's meeting last week. It is incredibly clean as a city. So they have now you have 100% segregation. He said 98%. He said, I'm leaving 2% out because I don't know.
Yes.
98% segregation at the household level.
Yes.
And you have full wet waste composting that is happening.
Yes. The micro-composting center. We have deployed small vehicle as well as big vehicle in the 2-bin system, 4-bin system manner. Okay.
Incredible. Yeah.
Can we hear from Mangalore? So this is the last one. After that, we will go for a tea break. Anyone from Mangalore?
Yes.
Yeah. Because Mangalore is another coastal city that we have.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm from Udupi CMC. Basically, Udupi is a coast. Yes, City Municipal Council. Yeah, actually, we are generating around 90 tons of waste per day. So in that, we are started collecting around 10 types of waste. See, wet waste we are collecting every day. In wet waste also, we are segregating coconut waste, chicken waste, like that. And we are closely work with the Sahas from last 4 years. So we have started wet waste collecting in 3 different ways. And we are processing in our decentralized and centralized composting system. And dry waste, actually, we are working with our self-help groups. So almost 15 to 16 groups are working with our CMC. So they are, we are provided the infrastructure to them, and Sahas is providing the machineries to them. So almost a semi-mechanized way we are sorting the waste. And dry waste, almost self-help groups are earning very good. And except cloth, thermocol, and thermocol and chappal, we are recycling everything. And self-help groups also earning very nicely. And the model is also sustainable. We are sending almost all the plastic waste to authorized recyclers. And MLP we are sending to cement factories. And chicken waste also we are sending to rendering unit. Almost we are doing almost decentralized way all the waste. So it is working nicely. Thank you.
Wonderful. Ma'am, we are very short of time, so sorry. We have sessions right after the tea break. So if I may request both of you to just share your closing remarks, please.
I can be very short since I'm between you and your tea break now, but just let me say that that was a very interesting round and very interesting to listen to the experiences you've had and what you've done. And I also said that if there is an opportunity for me to come and see some of this work in your municipalities, I would really like to do that. This is very good work, and it really helps in your communities. And what we need to do is to spread it so that this will be part of the thinking in every community, because it's needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So a few words from me, just to thank the ambassador again for coming to our meeting. I think your presence here is very important because now it helps to essentially show the partnership between countries, the possibility of bringing change if we work together. And also the fact that I think it's important because there is so much happening in India. There is so much happening. I mean, you just got a flavor of it from this room here, where you have a municipality which is doing things where you can see the change happening on the ground. You have a civil society organization which is bringing change by collecting the plastic, intercepting it. You have a city corporations which are scaling up that. So I think that's really where, and you haven't even heard the others who are doing phenomenal work, which Atin and his team have brought together for this conclave. I'm really hoping, Ambassador, that from this, and I think that's what Atin is working towards, is that what we will do now is to finalize this draft paper, which will really put together both in terms of not just the issues, but what needs to be done. We will use the draft paper then to be able to come up with the action agenda going forward, both at the governmental level, but more importantly, at the city and the community level. I think the most interesting thing that is happening with solid waste and with marine litter is that the potential of change is in the hands of people. And I think that is so phenomenally powerful. I know that we have to work with industry to minimize a certain amount of waste, a kind of waste. We have to work with policy to be able to ban certain items. But even before that is done, what is possible is what you're seeing in this room. And that I think is so powerful. It's so inspirational, because if we can take that and upscale it and do it in city after city after city, you know, you can bring such enormous change. And that to me gives me really that sense of hope that there is so much that we can do ourselves. So again, thank you so much for coming. Really grateful. Thank you.
So colleagues, please join us for the tea outside. It's for 15 European minutes.